What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Childish. We are back at it again with episode 11 of Educate and Dominate, that one on one interview series to get some of the top players in the game, get their insights so I can take your game to the next level. Our next guest is nothing short than a super surprise for me. Shout out to Mal for getting some of these upcoming guests on board. I have the clan leader of Zodiac, Revark Online. Revark, how we doing, bud?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Good deal. Um, Gosh, so if you guys don't know, you better ask somebody. Zodiac has been the top guild for quite some time. If you're following the Guild War leaderboard, you'll see them in the top five consistently throughout the time, bouncing around with Shadowvar, Nova, all of them guys out there, just bouncing around. So it's quite the honor to have you on board, and I'm truly excited to do this interview, sir. This is going to be great. But let's go ahead and get right into it, since we got a lot of top names and top guilds, and I'm kind of curious, where you came from as far as your video game history, and maybe after getting into that, you can kind of introduce us to your clan and how that came about.
Sure, I've been playing video games since forever. I'm an older gentleman. I play a lot of MMOs with my wife. She loves the MMO scene, so we do that together quite a bit. I do a little first-person shooter. I'm a Battlefield junkie, and Summer's War is very much like a MMO in a way with the large population. I was naturally drawn to it. Been playing since the release date, so obviously it's been a long time for me to build up my account. Um, Started out as a noob. I was a free to play. Summoned Varad when I was like level 17.
Oh
Um,
my God,
didn't even
nice.
really realize what I had at the time. I'm stumbling around with it, not really sure what to do. Shortly after, like level 23, I summoned Rika. I was still free to play, um, and just stumbled around for a long time. Eventually, what most people find out that you get into a better guild where people actually know some information, and that's where your real growth takes place. It's not by randomly playing the game or asking people questions. It's when you get into a guild that knows what they're doing. So I stumbled into one. My account grew and I got stronger. They lured me in. Eventually, started buying some things, some money. Um, then I joined the Dominate, was one of the original top guilds I joined, and that was where my real growth really took off. Telling you about runes, strategizing, going from there. And then I just jumped a different bunch of different top end guilds. Those type of personalities really draw in a strong group of type A personalities, and they don't seem to last very long. Those pure PvP type end guilds. So after seeing them come and go and die, I decided to make my own because I knew it would be stable. And that was the start of Zodiac, and that was the end of December, the beginning of January. Um, and just kind of chose it off of personality and how strong your team was. I didn't want to have a bunch of assholes, pardon the language, who had a strong team. I wanted some nice people with good personalities and a good mix. That way, the guild would last for a long time.
Good deal. Yeah, the it's funny. I know that there's been quite a few changes over the course of the last 5 months with some of these top end guilds or whatnot. So it's kind of cool to hear your perspective on that. You kind of already kind of got into as far as some of the things that you like, as far as getting into, having some people to share the information and talk shop to kind of improve your game. Is there anything, with regards to that, that you wanted to add that you felt was really necessary in kind of moving up in the ranks?
Um, One of the things I love to do. Shout out to one of my co-lead, June or Kismet. When we meet up on the arena and we see each other, if we happen to bump each other, we'll do 30 fights back to back, all in a row, and we'll try different defenses and we'll critique each one. We'll take screenshots. We'll talk about it. Literally 30 fights, 3 refills in order to get a good idea of what your team will do and how it will do against certain defenses. And I think that's invaluable to do that, once a month. Truly, you want to try to do that with a guildmate or whoever you can, a friend, to really see how your defense plays out.
Yeah, definitely. And for those that are listening, I made a couple videos a while back that were kind of like an introduction video for people that want to kind of get into YouTube. And now that doesn't necessarily mean you need a YouTube, right? But I provided some methods to mirror your device, record your device, whether it's iOS or Android, so that you can get these applications recorded and do that same thing. We do the same thing with our guild. All of our guild fights are friendly fights, and we'll go back and forth until we can break the person's defense, find the weak points, and try to make it better. There's nothing better than to see the your arena defense in action and see what it's doing. I kind of think this is a great um, segue into this one topic that I know we wanted to kind of get into, Rev. Your kind of thought process on the units when it comes to lining up the speed and making your arena defense and your arena offense work the way it is. Can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I value speed in the game, but most people will value it to a point where they'll slap the fastest speed runes they have in their monster, without regard to what their other unit speeds are. And although that's pretty good and it's a good just general strategy to kind of go with, if you really want to take it to the next level, you need to do the math if you're going to use a gauge booster, to ensure that there's no gaps in your team. I like to get to a point where both of my attack units are literally the exact same speed. That way, I won't have one monster attack, then all of a sudden there'll be a break in the attack, and next thing you know, Chloe's healing, and then my next attack monster goes. So if I have one monster at 146 speed, I'll try to get as many monsters I can at close to 146 speed, or make one monster so fast that, when its second move hits, it will be right at that speed of the 146 speed units. And so really doing that math and figuring out that equation so you know that there's going to be a definitive attack chain that you have that can't be interrupted by the computer or can't be broken by random number generation. And that's really key to me. It takes out the randomness of the battles and ensures that you're going to, get the chain off that you need to get off to win the victory.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing more awesome than to watch you go into a battle thinking you know exactly what you're doing, and then this team goes off and their synergy is so sick that everything works to a T, and they knock out like one or even two of your units before you even get an opportunity to attack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
that's the best.
crazy.
I used to do that. I used to go Jameer, Water Dragon, Fire Dragon, and Bernard, and they would all be full despair except for Bernard, of course. And the chain was just so perfect that you would normally not even. This was before the will runes came out. Real runes screwed that up for me. But the chain would be so perfect, literally, you wouldn't get a move between the gauge reset of Varad and the stun of Zeros. It was just an ugly chain, but unfortunately, will runes came out and ruined my fun on that one.
Gotcha. Let's see here. So I kind of wanted to get into some of these units here. Like we do, guys, in the past, we try to get into some units that are somewhere around the 3 to 4 star mark that people can take advantage of. And one of the things that kind of pops up is one of the not the newest unit, but one of the units that we, got a few months back here with the newest like monster release, and that is the water mammoth. I've seen a lot of people use a wide variety of units. I see you have both the wind and the water. So can you kind of get into that as far as those units go?
Yeah, I got both of those the day they came out, and they were so new, and I was fascinated with their skill sets. So I six-starred them both, pretty much immediately because I wanted to know how viable they were, long term. They're actually both great for B10 runs. The wind one works well in the water giant. The water one works amazing in the fire dragon run. The water is so nice that you can slap even a junk set of runes in it. That's what I have. I just put anything in it because it still works in giants. Between his defense buff and his AoE heal, um, it's a very viable unit for a free-to-play player or anybody who wants to have a viable B10 unit. I've seen some of them in Guild Wars. It's not so hot in arena defense, but guild defense, it's a little bit more viable, because of the defense buff. I believe it would need to be violent if it's going to be in the defense, guild defense. But they're both easy to get units and very useful, and for some PVE type stuff.
Gotcha. And you said you had a nice wide variety of units, and for the arena defense, your best bet is for arena. What do I say? Uh, the violence are for the best for the Guild Wars defense. Now, would that be your recommendation in general? Because obviously, some of these guys that are watching here are not going to be at the level that you're at. So, do you have a recommendation for people that are beginner intermediate coming into the game that might not have the access to really good violent runes?
Yeah, Swift is always my fallback. If you can't do violent, I tell people to go Swift. That's my opinion. The extra speed helps out. More speed, more turns, more damage, more healing. Speed is a real nice replacement for a violent rune. So I tell speed normally, like the Water Mammoth, for example, he's wonderful on speed, especially if you can get his speed up to plus 80, plus 90. And that's pretty doable, even for a newer player, brand new to like level 35 player could probably still do that. Um, so Swift is a real nice replacement, in my opinion, for anything like that. Of course, if you have an AoE attacker, then Despair is a wonderful replacement for a violent set. Although that's sometimes a little bit hard to to collect as well, the despair runes. So I kind of fall back on like a rage or a blade type build, something like that, if you can't get the despair.
Gotcha. And so I'm looking at the water mammoth, and it's funny because I take a look at a lot of your units here, and people are not seeing this, but there's a common denominator when it comes to a lot of your units, and that is going out of your way to skill up these units. I think you have an interesting way about going about setting up your team when it comes to units that are skilled up versus not skilled up. So can you kind of get into that and tell our viewers what your thought process is on that?
Yeah, I really dislike using a unit unless it's fully skilled. I mean, the gap between an unskilled and a skilled unit seems vast to me, and so I'm very particular about what units I skill up. You'll see, like my Rika, my five-star occult girl, she's not very skilled up at all, even though I've had her since I was level 7, no, 23. So even though I've had her forever, she didn't. She's a typical damage dealer. There's nothing so amazing about her that I feel like I have to go out of my way to skill her up. But obviously, both of my fire dragons are skilled up. Those are top 10 units, so I wanted to make sure those were skilled up. Um, Jameer, I started to skill him up. I think he's missing like two skill ups, but I hit the important one, which is the illusion of time. And so once I got skilled up, I kind of felt like I needed to move on. Um, the water mammoth I was using for probably a good, month and a half in um, the dragon run, so I wanted him skilled up. If I'm going to be using a unit a lot, I feel like I have to have it skilled up. Um, and sometimes you get in this caught in this thing like my Vanessa. I used two devil mons on her, and right away they hit her revive. And so I was like, well, I can kind of wait. So I'm not using her for damage. I'm really using her for her revive and her speed boost. So I'll move on to something else. So I really like to use everything skilled up. My Varad is skilled up, two of my dragons. Um, if I'm using a unit, you better believe it's probably going to be skilled up.
Good deal. And then, with regards to the three-star unit, even though, um, I don't like to really get into a lot of the five-star units for people since they don't always
Sure,
have the opportunity to do it.
exactly.
I do believe the Ifrit is something that everybody can attain. So I wanted to kind of get on your topic on that. You see a lot of people go back and forth about what they feel is the best way to go, whether they should put speed onto attack on 4, attack on 6, or speed crit damage attack, or should they go attack crit damage attack? Now it looks like you have speed here, and then you said you really went crit damage on the 4 slot, and then attack on the 6 slot. So can you talk about your history with that?
Yeah, the freets, I agree with you. They're wonderful, and I think a lot of people try to get pigeonholed into building it a certain way. I think actually all of the obtainable freets, including the darker freet, is actually viable in a number of different builds. Pure tank even, just really what you want to do with it. I was going to do the water freet as a crit damage build because I was lacking. I'm lacking water damage units. That's just not something my team has for whatever reason. So I was going with the crit damage build to try to get some of that water damage that I need, and it spreads across all the elements for the water one, which is nice. Um, but they're versatile, and you can skill them up if you choose to keep buying a freets. You could always skill one up. I really dislike the wind one, but most people probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I have a couple guildies who use it as a tank, a control tank. Put despair on it, and put a ton of hit points on it. And I think you could do that with any of them. You could build the water freet as a tank with a little bit of damage, 2 hit point, one attack. Um, but they're really versatile.
Gotcha. And it's funny because you said that I've only summoned two Ifrits and both of them are win. I took my wind Ifrit. I was so mad, dude. I threw him in my dark Ifrit because I just couldn't bear to see it anywhere. I was like, I needed the skill up, so
Yeah, if
I
I
was
get a
like,
second one, you better believe I'm going to feed my Darker Freed. I think I need one more on my Darker Freed to make him fully skilled. So,
yeah, yeah. It hurt, but it happened. It happened. All right. So moving on, I had another question to ask you. It's actually before we get into your arena defense and arena offense. This is just kind of spur of the moment that I thought about. I have gotten quite a bit of feedback from the administrators over at the Comp to us. So shout out to everybody through Comp to us that's watching this game. I kind of wanted to open this up because I feel that the top players, I don't say we because I don't consider myself a top player, but the top players out there have so much experience. It's really, really easy for them to see kind of what units are looking good, what kind of units are broken. So I kind of want to ask you this: if there was one unit in the game that you feel, is currently broken and need to be changed for the better, what would that unit be and why?
What unit's currently broken and need to be changed for the better? That caught me off guard. Let's see.
The whole thought process caught me off guard because I was like, man, I didn't realize they're
Um,
watching this, so you better get at it.
I hear that the Fire Mermaid AI is broken. I actually summoned one and I was real excited about using it. The skill set looks nice. It's a 4 star. It's viable for a lot of people to get. And I heard that the healing side of it is like broken. She'll heal when a monster's only down 10%. She'll do some weird things. Um, the monks were like that for a very long time. Once they fixed them, it completely changed that for me. Um, Other broken units. Bernard, I think, you know, semi broken. He's not really viable for defense because he doesn't seem to like his gauge buff move. But Wayne is an excellent replacement. His AI is wonderful. So um, nothing tremendously broken in terms of AI. There might be a few overpowered units that might need to be scaled back a little bit, but I don't really like talk about nerfing, so we won't go down that scary path.
Nice, nice. Yeah, the I was hoping I did see that fire mermaid there, so I was hoping you kind of address it because I know there's a couple of people in Absolute Void that talks about the fire mermaid, and we're too happy with it. So come to us, fix that shit. Yeah,
Yeah, the skill set is beautiful in that Fire Mermaid. If the AI was a little better, it would be real nice.
good deal. And so, kind of getting back to some of these units that you were talking about with regards to your arena defense, arena offense, would you kind of talk about your one or the other first, and how you have synergized your team to just basically get the job done?
Well, my arena defense consists of Vanessa, double monk. I do a Freed and Kumar. Excuse me, I do Kumar and Ritesh, and then Vero to go alongside for some cleansing. Um, And in my perfect set, I normally have Ritesh and Kumar the exact same speed. I swapped out Kumar and put a crit damage in him because I wanted to see how that did. I'm not too impressed with it. You gain a little bit of damage over the 3 hit point build, but you lose a little bit of tankiness in it. So it's like an even swap to me. But normally, when I have a full hit point build on both of my monks, their speed is exactly plus 54 on both of them. Actually, Ritesh is plus 54 and Kumar is plus 53. That 1 point difference ensures that Ritesh gets that defense break off before Kumar does his attack. Sometimes when they're tied up exactly, they'll alternate. So Kumar will go first, and obviously you want that defense break to be on him when Kumar goes. Um, so that's what I normally do. I do violent on both of them. It's got to be violent. Actually, my full team is violent. My defense is full violent defense. If I wasn't going to do that and I was a newer player, I'd probably do a despair build on Kumar and Ritesh. Um, Along with a swift build on Vanessa probably, so she can try to get her defense break off. Um, but I go full violent. Obviously, violence where it's at for defense. That randomness is too good to pass up.
Yeah, it is. Now, here's something to think about because this might be a stupid question, but if you're going such a strong team here with regards to uh, Vanessa, the two Beast Monks, and then Varad, if you take away the opportunity to go violent on the Beast Monks, wouldn't that be a little bit harder to keep the heals up, or do you find that your units are just so strong, so tanky that it really doesn't matter if you don't have the ability to get additional turns and heal?
Yeah, I mean, you see my Ritesh is at like 47,000 base hit points.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, I can get the Fire Monk to the same range, and then I probably wouldn't use Vanessa as a lead if I didn't have the Violent, because like you said, the healing's just not there. I'd probably switch out and go Vero lead for that extra 33, 4,000 hit points, which would put him at like 50,000, which would be really hard to get them down and kill them quick enough to do anything. That's also one of the reasons why I put Nemesis on Kumar, because if they hit him hard, I want him to be able to try to get his heal off, which is the upside of the Violent Nemesis build I put on him.
Right. Cool. Very, very cool. Awesome. And then that is pretty much the setup for the arena defense team. Does the arena offense change a lot? I mean, I guess it would depend on the guys you go against, but do you have like a all around team that you like to use?
Yeah, I have 3 teams really. I have my standard team for really 1 star Guardian people I'm fighting or lower. If they're weaker than that, I can go Jameer, double zeros, Bernard, and it just lays them to waste. I mean, you buff, you do a cooldown AoE, you do another cooldown AoE, you wait, you do 2 DOTs, you refresh with Jameer, and it's over.
Yep.
Um, so anybody below 1 star Guardian is like a 30, 45 second fight. After that, it starts to get funny when you get in 2 star Guardians and a lot of will runes. So I normally swap out and go with a Keo, the Wind Brownie lead. Um, and two Zeros and Jameer. I dropped the speed lead because I figure let them to get their shield up. I'll have Akia clear the shield, and then I'll lay them down with the Zeros. And then for the really, really strong guys, I usually end up using my arena defense. That team is extremely amazing. Obviously, it's slower to kill, which is why I don't use it all the time. But I can basically almost auto anybody with that team. I hit auto fight. I might have to do targeting with it, but it's so tanky and with so much heals that it can take down almost anybody.
Good deal. Awesome. And let's see here. One of the other topics we want to kind of get into was similar to what we did in the previous episode with Mao, kind of getting into the ones to watch. Some of the units that you feel that maybe are old or getting revamped or new that have recently come out that you kind of wanted to address to the community so that if they do get it, they keep it and kind of go about speccing them in a certain way. What do you feel?
Well, I summoned the Fire Pirate like the day it came out or the day after. I really like this unit. It is got with the caveat, this unit has to be skilled up in my opinion. It has to be. It's just not. It's pretty basic if it's not skilled up, not worth the time. But when you skill it up, its first and second move has 100% proc rate. And its first move is a defense break, so that's like a Bella type attack, defense break every single time he attacks. And then the second move is a stun, which has got a cooldown of like I believe 3 once it's skilled up, or maybe even 2. So you're stunning somebody 3. Thank you. You're stunning somebody every third turn. You're defense breaking them. The third skill it gets on awakening is also very nice, especially if you have a bomber. It detonates bomb, but even without the bomb, it's pretty nice. And I decided not to awaken him right away because if I skill him up, I want all my skill ups to go to his first 2 move and not that bomb move because I want that 100% proc rate on both those. So I think the fire pirate has got a real niche waiting to happen once I can skill him up. Another one that I kind of like that kind of got forgotten about was the fire pirate. It got a buff recently and got the branding move, I believe, and so it's more viable than it was in the past. Um, so that's something that could be looked at. I actually foddered mine a long time ago, but it looks like it could be a viable unit as well.
Yeah, I've been playing around with mine and having good times with it. It's gone back and forth as far as the runes go, but I've had a couple of units that have just kind of needed the runes more so than her. But I'm having fun with it. If I can,
Yeah, if you do the branding and a defense break, I mean, the amount of damage you could put out could just be amazing between the branding, defense break, and like a Brandia move or something. You could potentially reach 160,000 damage in arena or something crazy. It would be insane. So.
yeah, right on. All right, and let's see. This is always the funnest part of the interview. Getting into that epic fail. So for those that are new, and Revark, I know that we haven't talked too much outside this interview, but I also have a guild called Epic Fail, and we embrace we embrace the fact of failing. We love it. We don't have too much fun. We laugh together, not laugh at each other, right? So I kind of wanted to see if you can open up your Pandora's box and talk about maybe one of the biggest epic fails you've ever had in the game today.
Um, Biggest epic fails I've ever had. Let's see. Well, early in the game, I foddered Chloe, not knowing the value of her. And it took me until I was probably level 40 for probably 3 months before I got a second one. And then I started summoning them left and right. Um, Luckily, nothing too so amazing that I was just heartbroken. Of course, I've done the fodder over your 15 rank rune. I've done that a couple times and
Ooh,
learned my lesson.
yep, yep.
I'm still missing a focus 6-star rune that had 17 speed on it that I cry about every time I think about. So when rune removal comes up, I always put a guild notice up. Please don't fodder over your runes. Of course, you foddered a couple of Devilmon into a 2-star monster before I've done that. So I now lock every monster that I want to keep, including my Devilmon, as soon as I get them. You kind of learn your lesson about those things. But those are my 2 ones, foddering over a rank 15 rune or Devilmoning a tree ant, things like that. But nothing too devastating, luckily.
Good deal. And this next topic, I don't think it's an epic fail. This is something kind of unique to you that a lot of people don't do. If it was something that you wanted to kind of point out that a lot of people don't do, is utilizing certain people on your friends list. Can you kind of get into that and talk about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of known in terms of my friends in the game that I meticulously manage my friends list. And I mean meticulously that right now I only have, I think, 42 friends or something because B10 monsters are no use to me anymore. And whatever you need to tailor your friends list specifically to that. If all you're doing is BT runs and you want to have 50 friends that have a BT monster, but I'm past that point. So I want friends that have Lucians and Teshers and things that farm extremely fast because I can take a 4-star monster from level 1 to level 30 in 25 to 35 minutes because I have 50 friends that all have Lucians. So my runs are 30-second runs. You pop an EXP booster, you're getting 14,000 experience every 30 seconds on a monster. It's just amazing for fodder building, and that's what I really need these days is fodder building. I don't need help with B10. But if you're level 35 and you need to farm runes, then make sure you have 50 friends that have a B10 monster if you can't do it yourself. And that's really one of the things I kind of impress upon people, that people just haphazardly accept people because they are your friends, and you think, oh, it's my friend, I'll make him my friend. Well, your friend is providing you no benefit, so maybe you get a friend that can provide you some benefit, and if they are your friend, they'll understand that why you defriended them. So even my own guildmates don't make my list sometimes, and I hear about it and they make fun of me, but they understand the reasons why.
Yep, yep. And since you have vast experience in that, what do you feel is the fastest unit and the fastest zone for you to get your XP done the quickest?
Tesher is just absolutely amazing with his no skill down move. If you get him strong enough and you can run Aiden Forest, you can make some good money and do some real fast runs. Lucian, if you can get him strong enough, same situation. You can run through Aiden Forest on Aiden 1 and really make some sick experience pretty fast. Fall back for some earlier guys who can't find friends that can farm Aiden. Hydini, I love Hydini. Hydini 1, you can use water units on, Hydini 3, you can use fire units on, Hydini 5, you can use air units on. So those are the three I run when I don't have a friend who's quite strong enough to run the Aidens. Um, but any AoE attacker with plus 2,000, damage is sufficient to run Hydini. And if you get some real strong friends, you can do some Aiden runs.
Cool. And so you feel that at this stage of the game for you, Aiden Forest is actually better than Hydini Hell, or is it?
Aiden actually gives more experience. The
Gotcha.
monsters are a little
Okay.
bit higher level, and so it's not a lot, but I think it's like 1,000. So instead of 14,000 experience, you get like 15,700 or something like that. So if the runs take the same amount of time, why not take the extra 1,000? And the runes sell for a whole lot more. The runes you get from Aiden sell a lot more than the runes you get from Hydini. So
So there you have it, guys. You better write that stuff down so you can start taking that stuff and practice it in your next XP run. Good deal, my man. So if you want to go ahead and we can close out this video here. I want to give you an opportunity to give any shout outs to everyone out there, in addition to any call outs for future recommendations for this series.
I just want to thank you for having me on here. My co-lead June, she's been amazing. And all the members of Zodiac. We got a real nice team. We try to keep our population down. I think we only have 24 members. That way it's easy to swap out runs. And I probably wouldn't be in the game today if I didn't have that group to hang out with. So much appreciation to them.
Good deal. And anybody that you got quite a few people that you've spent some time with in the game that you feel that they have some extension on that they could provide for the community as you did today.
Yeah, I don't know everybody you've had on. There's a few. I think you're going to have a couple more coming up here. Uh, um, Most of my friends that have like this vast knowledge moved over to the Asian server when they left. I stole so much information from them when they left. Cold Still and William, and there's some guys over there that left. So most of all my hidden talents I still snag from line because I can't talk to them in game. But they were really there for me when I was building up and I was, at that edge of becoming a real strong player. Cold Still particularly, and Jim loves me, although he no longer is in the game. So
Yeah, but it's a shame. He was a really good cat, and it was really fun to watch his videos and learn from him. So
yeah,
good
yeah.
deal. Well, all right, guys, we'll go ahead and close it out right there. It's your boy Childish and Revark with Childish Plays checking out. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode. We're